Hi, in this video I want to have a look at arpeggios again, and particularly 4-note arpeggios which are associated with 7th chords. This is something that comes up a lot in playing on jazz standards, for example, where you have things like 2-5-1 progressions, which I guess many of you may have come across before. And I just wanted to have a bit of a look at applying arpeggios to a chord sequence and different ways you can approach this in your practice. So I'm just going to take the first few bars of Autumn Leaves, a well-known jazz standard that a lot of you probably already know and play, and just have a look at some approaches you could take towards practicing this. I may expand this actually into a small video series, so this is really just going to be a taster for it. But let's get straight into it. If we play this particular standard in the key of B flat major, G minor, however you look at it, the first few chords are going to be C minor 7th as the chord 2 of the first key, B flat major, so C minor 7th. The chord 5 would be F 7th, then B flat major 7th, chord 1, then I'm going to go to chord 4, E flat major 7th, and then I'm going to play the 2-5 in the minor key, A minor 7 flat 5 to D 7, down to G minor. And I may actually add in another chord just after that, A flat diminished chord, which takes me back quite nicely to the C minor. So I'll just run that again. This is going to be starting on the chord 2 in the key of B flat major, and that's C minor 7th. F 7th is the chord 5 in the same key, chord 1, B flat major 7th, chord 4, E flat major 7th, and then a 2-5 in the minor key, the relative minor key, which is A minor 7 flat 5 going to that chord D 7th, and then to G minor. And as I said just now, I may add in an A flat diminished chord after that, which is just a nice way of taking us back to the C minor. Now if you're playing over these chords and you are looking at beginning to try and construct some melodic lines for soloing, arpeggios are a great place to start with because they simply spell out the notes in the chord. So I'll go through fairly swiftly some approaches you can take with practicing using the arpeggios for these chords that I've just mentioned. If I'm going a little bit fast, feel free to rewind the video and go over those chords again. But basically the arpeggios I'm going to be playing now will be for C minor 7th, F 7th, B flat major 7th, E flat major 7th, so that's called a 2-5-1-4 in the key of B flat major, the first 4 chords of Autumn Leaves if you do it in this key. And then I'm playing A minor 7th flat 5 to D 7th to G minor 7th, a 2-5-1 but in the relative minor key to B flat major, which makes it G minor. Now if that's all sort of theory that's kind of like an alien language at the moment, I'm sure you'll find some stuff online where you can get a little bit of theoretical information about that, but if you just trust me for the moment, that's the chords we're working with. Okay, so let's have a look at the first chord there, C minor 7th. What we're going to do here is play 1 octave arpeggios. I'm going to play them fairly low register on the guitar, just so you'll be familiar with the root of these arpeggios being on maybe the 6th and then the 5th string. So C minor 7th as a 4-note arpeggio, root, minor 3rd, 5th, flat 7. Then I'm going to play F 7th with the root on the 5th string, root, 3rd, 5th, flat 7th. Back to a 6th string root for the B flat major chord, root, 3rd, 5th, major 7th, 5th string root for the E flat major 7th chord, 1, 3, 5, major 7, and for the A minor 7th flat 5 chord, same chord as an A half diminished chord, two names mean the same thing. Root on the 6th string, minor 3rd, flat 5, flat 7th, the D 7th, so again root on the 5th string there, root 3rd, 5th, flat 7th, and finally G minor, which is root minor 3rd, 5th, flat 7. Now I did mention another chord earlier, a diminished chord, we'll come to that in a moment, but let's just get these first arpeggios down. So what I'm going to do here is play each one of these arpeggios with the same interval order, root, a 3rd, a 5th and a 7th. So I'm going root, 3rd, 5th, 7th, root, 3rd, 5th, 7th, root, 3rd, 5th, 7th, root, 3rd, 5th, 7th. Okay, and because the last chord there, played it for a couple of bars, and I descended the arpeggio. So I'll do it again a bit quicker. And it still sounds very, very much like an exercise, but hopefully from that you can hear that it outlines the chords. It's giving you the sound of the chord, simply because it is the notes of the chord, it's the arpeggio of the chord. Now, I'm not suggesting people play any solos like that, it's going to sound pretty dull after a while, but if you've not practiced like this before, you simply just, try and get a key centre when you're soloing on a tune like this. This is a great way of getting focus right down the notes that have to change between one chord and the next. So the first couple of exercises, that was one of them, is playing 1, 3, 5, 7, 1, 3, 5, 7, 1, 3, 5, 7, 1, 3. Okay, now the second one, I'll do a bit slower, is to reverse the order, so you'll be playing 7, 5, 3, 1. So for C minor, 7, 5, 3, 1, same thing transposed to F7. Then for the B flat major chord, A half diminished, D 7th, and finally G minor 7th. Now it doesn't really matter, in my view, that you have to say root minor 3rd, perfect 5th, flat and 7th, or root minor 3rd, flat and 5th, flat 7. You can number it, and in fact this was a kind of practice routine I was given some years ago. Just call it 1, 3, 5, 7, 7, 5, 3, 1. If you know the arpeggio well enough, you know which chord you're playing over it. There'll be differences obviously between them, whether it has a major or minor 3rd, a perfect 5th or a flat and 5th. The theory there is only important until you get what the right notes are, in my view. The main thing here is be able to play those two things. So for this first video, that's what I'd like you to practice. 1, 3, 5, 7, 7, 5, 3, 1. Now you don't have to do it on Autumn Leaves, you might not like the tune, you might not want to practice it on that, but whatever tune you're working on, try those exercises first, and in the second video I'll go into some more developed exercises using a similar approach and making it a little bit more embellished. Okay, hope that's been helpful, and I'll see you in the next video.